Well, hey, good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for being here tonight at our Connect group. When you hang out in these Connect groups, you are literally a part of the mission and vision that we have here at the Heart in connecting people to the heart of God. And we believe that happens best in groups when we can talk through our journey of faith, where we're at with God, where we want to be, what we're praying about, and what our thoughts are. So I want to say thank you so much for being here. Before you leave, make sure you find your Connect group leader or your Connect group host and give them a high five or a long hug and say thank you so much for what you do, because without them, we wouldn't be able to have these amazing groups where we're able to connect with each other in this way. Now, the way we do these Connect groups is we're going to have a couple of questions that are loosely based on the message that we just had this past Sunday. And if you weren't there, we are in the middle of a message series called Influence, and we're looking at the people in our life. How can we have influence with them? And then how can their connection with us influence us? And that's in the good ways, the bad ways, whatever that influence happens to be. And ultimately, what we want to do is to be able to be an influence from the kingdom of heaven, to be able to influence others for the kingdom of heaven. So if you haven't listened to the message, it's no worries. You don't need to be a part of the conversation, but if you want to, you can always catch up on our podcast. We looked at a couple different scriptures this past Sunday. One of them was in Ephesians chapter 2, and another one was in 2 Corinthians chapter 5. Or it might be 1 Corinthians, I'm not sure. I'll have it up on the screen here for a sec, though, in a sec for you guys to be able to look at. But I want us to be able to read through these scriptures because they can help us get a grip on some of these questions that we're going to have tonight. So the first question is, I want to start pretty basic, pretty simple. And maybe it's not that simple because any of these questions can go as deep as you want them to go. But the question is, if you look at your life, what has God done in your life? I want to take some time and maybe dig into your past, maybe in the past year, the past month, whatever it is. What has God done for you in your life? Let's take a few minutes, read through those scriptures, and let's answer this question together. I want you guys to take a couple of minutes to do that. All right, now the next question is, it's going to go right into, why do you feel like it's important for you to remember to look at what God has done in your life? Why is it important to remember what God has done in your life? How does it change your perspective on your life, on the people around you, on your future? Why is it important to look and to remember what God has done? So let's take a few minutes to talk through that together. All right, the third question, it builds a little bit off of that. And if you've already answered part of it, that's okay. But I want us to dig a little bit deeper. And it's, how can us remembering what God has done in our life, how does that affect others that are around us in our circle, our sphere of influence? So how are others affected when we take the time to remember what God has done in our life? What does that do for others around us? So let's take a few minutes and dig into that together. All right, now our last question tonight always is a question that we want to take what we've learned, take what we're discussing and discovering, and take that into our real life, right? If we're not applying what we're learning, then we're just getting smarter. And the goal isn't to get smarter. The goal is to know more of God and be able to take steps in this journey of faith together as a community with one another. So this last question is, how can you this week, how can you, looking at what God has done in your life, how can you use what God has done in your life to influence others around you in a way that can lift you up and lift them up? How can you use what God has done in your life to influence those around you? How are you going to do that this week? So this is going to be the last question for tonight. I want to leave you guys with this here. I love you guys so much. I want to invite you to bring a friend. I want to challenge you to bring someone this week to the Heart. We're having an experience at 9:30 and 1 at 11, and we're going to be continuing our message series on influence. And we're going to dig even deeper on what it means to have influence for the kingdom of heaven. So we'll see you guys this Sunday, 9:30 and 11. Love you guys.